All right, starting lesson 9.1a, sequences and series. A sequence, all right, is an ordered set of numbers produced by a function. Okay, so starting off example 1, we have some functions that produce a sequence of numbers. All right, so it says to write the first 3 terms. All right, well, if we write a with a little 1, this little number here is known as a subscript. Okay, and this is the first term of the sequence. Now, since the n value right now is 1, that means we plug in 1 for n. Okay, and we work it out, and we get a sub 1 is equal to 3. All right, then now a sub 2 represents my second term to the sequence. So 2 times n, which is 2, plus 1. That gives me the second term, which is 5. And then we have the third term, a sub 3. So we have 2 times 3 plus 1. So a sub 3 is equal to 7. All right, so our 3 terms, or our first 3 terms of the sequence, are 3, 5, and 7. All right, essentially this function gives us all the odd numbers in sequence. All right, let's do another example. The first term, so we have 2 minus negative 1 to the 1 power. So I have a sub 1, actually, that's a sub 2. I'll just work it out on the right side here. I have 2, it's going to be minus negative 1, which is 2 plus 1, which is 3. All right, then I have 2 minus negative 1 to the second power, because I'm working with the second term. So I have 2 minus 1, which is 1. And I have a sub 3, which is 2 minus negative 1 to the third power. End up with a negative 1 again, which gives me 2 plus 1, which is 3. And the interesting thing about this function is it's going to give me a sequence where I go back and forth between 3 and 1. All right, let's do another type of example. All right, these functions make the signs in the sequence alternate. All right, so they want the first 4. So we'll start off with the first term. We have negative 1 to the first power, because n is 1, times 1. All right, then we get negative 1 times 1, which is negative 1. Then we have a sub 2, which is equal to negative 1 to the second power times 2, which is equal to positive 1 times 2. That gives us 2. Then I have a sub 3 is equal to negative 1 to the third power times 3, which is equal to negative 1 times 3, which is negative 3. Then I have a sub 4, which is equal to negative 1 to the fourth power times 4, which is equal to 1 times 4, which is equal to 4. All right, so first 4 terms of the sequence are negative 1, 2, negative 3, 4. So notice how the signs alternate. And they alternate because I'm taking negative 1 and I'm raising it to a variable power. All right, so when this is odd, the result is negative. When this is even, the result is positive. All right, let's do another example. Let's get a little space over here. All right, for part B, we have a sub 1 is equal to negative 1 to the 1 plus 1 power. All right, simple stuff. Just take your time working it out. So I have negative 1 to the second power over 2 minus 1. And then I have 1 over 1, which is 1. All right, a sub 2, I have negative 1 to the 2 plus 1 power, all over 2 times 2 minus 1. So I have negative 1 to the third power, all over 4 minus 1. So I have negative 1 over 3. I have a sub 3 is equal to negative 1 to the 3 plus 1 power all over 2 times 3 minus 1. So I have negative 1 to the 4th power all over 6 minus 1. So that gives me 1 over 5. And then one more term, a sub 4 is equal to negative 1 to the 4 plus 1 power all over 2 times 4 minus 1. So I get negative 1 to the 5th power all over 8 minus 1. So I have negative 1 over 7. Alright, so right now all the terms of the sequence, I have 1, negative 1/3, then I have 1/5, and negative 1/7. Alright, and look at the terms of this sequence and the one before. The first one started with the negative, the second one started with the positive. Now why is that? Well, look at what they did to the exponent here. Because they added 1 to it, you could also subtract 1 from it. Alright, it changes the order of the signs. Okay, so that's something to pay attention to. Alright, let's go on to another example. Okay, these examples can be very challenging in the beginning. Alright, but just watch what I'm doing here. And eventually, once you get more familiar with these types of problems, it's going to be easy to see how you come up with the function. Alright, so they gave me 4 terms to the sequence. So n just represents the number of the term. Alright, now what are the terms exactly? Well, they gave me 1, and then they gave me 3, and then 5, and then 7. Alright, so when you're looking at the terms, you want to see if there's a relationship. Well, here's the relationship. I'm adding 2 each time. Okay, so let's come up with a function that could describe this sequence. Alright, so I have a sub n. Alright, and I know we're moving up by 2 each time. Alright, so what I could do, well, check this out. I'm going to write this, 2n minus 1. Alright, now let's work our way backwards. If I plug 1 in here, I get 2, and I subtract 1, and that gives me 1. If I plug 2 in here, I get 4, I subtract 1 from it, that gives me 3. So this is going to give me all the terms in the sequence. Alright, and you may be saying, well, how was I supposed to see that? Alright, well maybe, you could have studied the problem for, an hour and you still wouldn't have got this sequence. But watch how these functions are built, and then eventually it's going to be easy to see how to come up with the functions for a sequence. Alright, let's do part B now. So I have the first term, the second term, the third term, the fourth term. Alright, what are my terms? I have 2, negative 5, 10, negative 17. Okay, what's going on here? I got 2, 5, 10. There's no apparent relationship, except if you just look at the numbers themselves, it goes up by 3, then it goes up by 5, then it goes up by 7. All right. Okay, well, watch this. All right, now study that for a moment, and then you'll see if you plug in 1, you get 1 squared plus 1, you get 2. If you plug in 2, you get 2 squared, which is 4, plus 1 is 5. If you plug in 3, you get 3 squared plus 1, which is 10. Okay, so that gives you the numbers to the sequence. Now notice that the signs are changing. All right, so we have this first part, and all right, I'm going to have to throw a little something onto the left side. All right, let me give myself a little more space here. I'm going to write this below here. N squared plus 1. Okay, now the sign's changing, So I know I'm multiplying by -1, but it's raised to some power. Now, how do I get the sequence to start off as positive? If I start off with an n here, it's going to start off negative. So that's why I start with n plus 1 as the exponent, because then it's going to make sure that the first term is positive, and the next term will be negative, and then the next term will be positive. All right, so there's my function. All right, once again, I know that these are challenging in the beginning, but just start studying how they're constructed in the first place, and then it's going to be easy to see how to come up with them in the future. All right, let's do 2 more examples. All right, got the first term, second term, third term, fourth term, and they give me a fifth term. All right, what are my terms? All right, well, I got the 1, and then I have 5, and then 9, and then 13, and then 17. Okay. All right, well, what's going on here? I go up to 5, then I go up to 9, then I go up to 13. We'll notice that there's a consistent difference. All right, when there's a consistent difference, what did we do in the first example? All right, we multiplied n by 2. So here we're going to multiply n by 4. Okay, so if I plug in 1, I get 4, but I need to get to my first term, which is 1, so I subtract 3. Well, let's test that out with the second term. If I plug in 2 for n, I get 8. 8 minus 3 is 5. Okay, there it is. All right, done with that. All right, so it should start to make more sense now. All right, start off with the first term, second term, third term, fourth term, and fifth term. Then we have terms. All right, I got -2, 9, -28, and then -126. Okay, notice that the rate at which these numbers are growing is has to be exponential. Okay, so if I take n and I square it, that's not going to increase the numbers as fast. Okay, because that's what we did back here, right? So how about if I cube it? If I plug in 1, I get 1 cubed, which is 1. If I plug in 2, I get 2 cubed, which is 8. That's close to 9. If I plug in 3, I get 27. That's close to 28. If I plug in 4, that's 64. That's close to 65, okay? But all I have to do then is add 1, right? All right, so that's a key piece to the function, and that gives me my correct numbers. Now I need to control the sign. So it's -1, and raise it to the n power. And if I start off with 1, then I start off with a negative. So there it is. I have my function now. All right. So there's the type of reasoning you have to go through in order to construct these functions. All right, let's do some more examples now. All right, the next idea we're going to discuss is a recursive sequence. All right, is one whose terms are defined using previous terms. All right, this concept is used frequently in programming. Also, when you're playing against the computer, when you're playing the game chess, the software is going through a recursive process. All right, now let's do example 4, the Fibonacci sequence. All right, very interesting sequence found throughout nature, and it's a recursive sequence. Now the Fibonacci sequence is defined recursively as follows. All right, now you're going to see a sub 0. All right, and sometimes we use a sub 0 because it just helps construct the function much easier. All right, now we have a sub 1 is 1, then it says this here. What does this mean? Okay, so say for example I use n is 5. All right, I'm going to plug it in over here. So if I want to get the fifth term, this is what it means to be recursive. All right, plug 5 in here, minus 2 plus a times 5 minus 1. All right, when I simplify this, I get a sub 4 plus a sub 3. So once again, this is what it means to be a recursive sequence. I'm using previous terms, I'm adding them up in order to obtain the next term. All right, so here it says write the first 4 terms to the sequence. Well, I know the first term is 1, and I know the second term, which in this case is a sub 1, is also 1. And then here's the third term, a sub 2, so I just plug it in the formula now. A sub 2 is a sub 2 minus 2 plus a sub 2 minus 1. So I end up with a sub 0 plus a sub 1, and I already know what those are. I have them right up here. So that's 1 plus 1, which is 2. All right, now I want to find the fourth term to the sequence. So I have a sub 3 minus 2 plus a sub 3 minus 1. So I get a sub 1 plus a sub 2. Well, I know a sub 1 is equal to 1, and I know a sub 2, I just solved for it before. That's 2, so I get 3. All right, so the first 4 terms to the sequence are 1, 1, then 2, then 3. Okay, and we could keep finding more terms, and we would get 5, then we would get 8, and 13, and 21, and it just keeps going on. Notice that I'm just adding the previous 2 numbers to get the next value. I add the previous 2 values to get the next value. I add the previous 2 values to get the next value. All right. That's a recursive sequence. All right, let's do one more example. All right, write the first 3 terms of the sequence defined recursively. All right, they already tell me that the first term is 6. All right, now if I want the second term, well, this could get a little confusing here. I have a sub n plus 1. What's n going to be if I'm working with the second term? Well, n is going to be 1 then, right? So I have a sub 1 plus 1. Well, what is a sub 1? It's 6. Okay, so you have to pay attention to all these details here. And then I have a sub 3. Well, that's equal to, well, what is n going to be in this case? Well, it has to be 2. All right, and then using the formula of a sub n, and a sub n in this case is a sub 2, because n is 2. And I have plus 1, which is equal to a sub 2, which is 7, plus 1, which gives me 8. All right, and so on and so forth. So here are the first 3 terms to the sequence: 6, 7, and 8. All right, if you have any questions, if you need any clarification, please make sure to ask for help. Begin the assignment.